Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. I apologize for the short hiatus there. I had my mother and my brother staying at my house, who are two of my favorite people on the planet, and I don't get to see them very often as I live about 500 kilometers away from everybody else in an attempt to get away from the city. So anyways, with that being said, this is going to be my Vera versus SANDHAGEN recap show. I'm going to only go over a few key moments because I don't really remember every single fight as well as I normally would when I do these recaps the very next morning. So yeah, let's get right into it, but we'll hold up. Please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I forgot about that. I'm a little rusty here. So anyways, first topic at hand will be my favorite part of any video, and that is to slander the name of Maycee Barber, okay, because I can't stand that lady. And I feel like I called this fight perfectly. And I said that I really hope Andrea Lee doesn't gas and that she doesn't get robbed of a 29-28 decision. And I feel like that's exactly what happened. There may be some of you out there who actually agree with the decision. I think that whether or not you agree with the decision, you have to at least acknowledge that Dan Mergliotta, who apparently made his judging debut on Saturday, unless I'm just not realizing that he's judged fights before, scored that fight 30-27 for Maycee Barber, and in no world, not even in the upside down, could that fight be scored for Maycee Barber at 30-27. I just rewatched that fight before starting filming so that I had it fresh in my mind. Man, I gave Maycee Barber the first round because of that strange little, I don't know, arm entanglement that she got Andrea Lee in, where she was able to land some pretty good elbows from bottom position. However, with that being said, watching it live, moments always seem a little bit bigger than they are, and that one is included in that, because that only lasted for like 20 seconds, 25 seconds or something like that. When I was watching it live, it felt like way longer, and it felt like she was able to do a hell of a lot more damage than I thought she was able to do. And okay, so either way, still, I'll say that was the best moment of the round for either one of them. So I gave round one to Maycee Barber. The next two rounds, I did not, though. Round two is almost impossible to score for Maycee Barber. Andrea Lee outstruck her on the feet, and also, they each had a takedown. The difference is that Andrea Lee got right back up for Maycee Barber's takedown, whereas Andrea Lee, on her takedown, was able to pass all the way into side control and was holding that position for the rest of the round. And I see a lot of people online who are arguing this fight in favor of Maycee Barber, trying to use the Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski example. They keep saying, well, since when does control time matter? Control time doesn't matter. You guys only say that it matters when it's somebody that you don't like, or it doesn't matter when it's somebody that you don't like, or whatever. That's not what it is. When the striking on the feet is even, it is supposed to be dead even, but if you're off by if it's like somebody's up by a couple strikes, then we'll call it even, just for the sake of like being non-argumentative. You then go to the next criteria. Andrea Lee wasn't just utilizing control time, she was effectively grappling. She didn't have any submission attempts, but she was passing, whereas Maycee Barber wasn't. She passed from half guard she passed from full guard to half guard to side control, almost got her in a crucifix position. She was constantly trying to progress, and wasn't just holding her on the ground. She was also landing little shots on the ground, not a whole lot, but she was definitely still landing something. Whereas, for instance, in the Alexander Volkanovski Islam Makhachev fight, round 4, once Makhachev took Volk's back there, he did not land a single blow. So that's the difference. And those of us who are scoring those rounds for Andrea Lee aren't scoring control time. We are scoring effective grappling. Okay, it's how it works. But also, though, if everything is even, you do go to that. So, anyways. But also, Maycee Barber was the one at the end of round 2 who's all bloodied up from her nose, right? And clearly had damage scored to her. I can't understand it. I feel like even the stats are skewed in favor of Maycee Barber, and I say this all the time, but it's the Josh Emmett effect, When people throw with reckless abandonment and they land shots that sound hard, but they hit shoulder or they hit glove or whatever, judges or whoever is in charge of the scoring stats will score that as like a significant strike for that person. Maycee Barber does not land most of her shots. Most of those shots are landing off the glancing off the shoulder, shit like that. Whereas Andrea Lee was like countering her with nice little shots that were actually landing. They weren't going off the glove. They weren't hitting her shoulder. Maycee Barber would throw like 15 shots and land 2 of them. But 4 of them might hit the shoulder. So then all of a sudden she's got 6 significant strikes, and it's like, fucking what? Huh? Okay, and then, she's, how old is she, dude? 24, 23, something like that. This chick is not progressing at all. She hasn't made any improvements from what I can see. She is still throwing full forced front kicks, straight lefts, fucking everything, round kicks from way out of range. She's nowhere near landing those shots. These aren't feints or fakes. These are, I throw a full fucking push kick even though we're standing 10 feet apart. It is so strange to watch. And I will be honest, I don't think that this was a great performance by either girl. I thought this fight was kind of shit. And, but that being said, I feel like Andrea Lee absolutely won the last 2 rounds. I can't see anybody scoring round 3 for Maycee Barber, but Dan Miragliotta sure can, which is fucking deranged to me. Get rid of him. Okay. He has been on the slide for quite some time, and I feel like this applies to a lot of the older referees. Well, just 2, Herb Dean and Dan Miragliotta. They both fucking suck at their job now. And again, I want somebody to let me know in the comments if Miragliotta has judged other fights that I'm just not aware of, or if this is maybe even just his first time in the UFC or what the fuck, but he's there to be a referee. Why is he all of a sudden in between fights that he's reffing, like judging a fucking fight? I don't understand it. It's mind-blowing to me. And what's hilarious is that when Dana White at the press conference got asked about the split decision in the main event, which was insane, okay, absolutely, I agree with this. But then he was asked about Maycee Barber, and he says, "Oh yeah, she got the decision win tonight, and this shit." It's like, bitch, fucking be honest with yourself and everybody else, because eventually, I'll tell you what, this girl's gonna get fucking hurt fighting somebody who's actually good. And then she gets on the mic and is the most fucking delusional retard I've ever fucking seen, okay? Especially at the post-fight press conference. My only true loss is to Alexa Grasso, and I won that 3rd round. Bitch, she needs a fucking therapist, a doctor, or something. I don't know what's going on through her brain. I don't know if Uriah Faber is like fucking hypnotizing her with some like surfer hippie shit or what's going on, dude, but you lost to Roxanne Modafferi. I don't give a fuck if you hurt your knee. You lost to an old lady who, fair enough, is a crafty veteran, but has a horrible record, is not athletic in the slightest, and she outgrappled you, like, even after your knee got hurt. So it was, she almost gave you the best opportunity to win that fight that you possibly had, and you wanted to be the youngest champion ever. Let me tell you something. John Jones fucked up Chael Sonnen with a big toe that the bone was going one way and the skin was going the other, and he was dripping blood all over the place. You hurting your knee is no excuse in this scenario, especially not against a girl like Roxanne Modafferi. If you were fighting against like Alexa Grasso and you had a torn ACL, that's one thing. You're fighting Roxanne Modafferi, and she took the fight to the fucking ground, gave you every chance in the world, and you still fucking lost. You're horrible. So somebody please call up Erin Blanchfield or Jessica Andrade, see if they're hungry. Who knows? Maybe they're fasting or something. I don't think either of them are Muslim, but who knows? Maybe they're participating in Ramadan. See if they're hungry, and feed this bitch to her, please, because I want this chick to shut her fucking mouth. I can't stand this lady. And she has now gotten 2 split decision victories just given to her on a silver platter. Her record should not be fucking 13-2. It should be, if that is even what it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 12-2 going into that fight, so I think it would be 13-2. She should be like 11-4. Okay. So she's the fucking female Patty Pimblett, dude. They're just gonna give her a decision. I can't stand it. And if yeah, people keep arguing on Instagram and in the comments and shit. Oh, well, she did more damage. Not really, though. In one round, she did more damage. They literally will bring up that moment in the first round. They'll say, oh, well, what about this? She's doing the damage. Yep, well, that counts for round 1, so that's great. I gave her round 1. What about the next 2? Because she did fuck all. And even in round 3, the scoring, the significant strikes were a differential of 2 in favor of Maycee Barber. But then Andrea Lee had the takedown and passed from full guard to half guard to side control, whatever. Controlled her on the ground and landed little shots on the ground. I swear to God, Dan Miragliotta had a really bad... I saw this moment in this fight that I didn't realize the first time. I didn't realize he was judging, but now that I do, or now that I realized that he was judging, there was a moment where towards the end of the third round, they were in like a clinch, and Maycee Barber threw 2 knees, and they looked like big strikes, but neither one of them landed. But Dan Miragliotta was kind of at a strange angle, so I don't know that he could see whether or not those actually landed, but Andrea Lee took both of them on the glove, and I feel like that might have something to do with it, but it wouldn't have mattered because he would have scored that fight for Maycee Barber anyways. Fucking what is wrong with you, Dan Miragliotta? Are you out of your goddamn mind, dude? I thought you knew about this sport. He's been having issues for a while, man. Dan Miragliotta. He had that thing going on with Michael Venom Page. I can't remember if it was like he was telling him to stop talking or to fucking stop taunting his opponent. I don't remember what it was, man, but there is a weird rule about not swearing while you're in the cage, but you're allowed to talk to the guy, and he's like telling fighters to shut up and shit. Get that fat fuck out of there, okay? Seriously, what the fuck? I can't imagine. Why is he judging fights? Since when? Who is it? Dude, you know what? He was probably filling in for fucking Douglas Crosby, and they went, here's all of Douglas Crosby's scorecards because he's a retard. So just when you have to score fights, score it like this. And he went, okay, cool. Like, dude, Holly Holm won her fucking fight 30-27 doing the exact same thing that Andrea Lee did in the last 2 rounds, and people online are like, well, control time doesn't mean anything. I wasn't talking about control time, but you guys are fucking deranged, okay? So, anyways. And even in the third round, dude, Maycee Barber's bloodied up, bloody mouth, all that shit. Andrea Lee had takedowns, effective grappling, and control time. Not just control time. You imbeciles, okay? So, next subject. Nate the Train. Hey, take a look at this bicep. Dude, that guy is fucking incredible. I love him. Also, I will say this, dude. I said in my prediction video that if he was fighting Alex Caceres, I would pick Alex Caceres. But because his opponent got replaced on short notice, I said you don't want to get run over by a train on short notice. If they were to make that Alex Caceres fight, I might pick him to win. His defense is so fucking underrated, dude, because he's like one of the brawler types or whatever, right? So people just assume, and I mean his fight with like Darren Elkins and shit like that, you see him get hurt in fights and just be able to take it and come back. So maybe he's been working on his defense or what, but in this fight, I was very impressed with his defense. He is very good at rolling with shots. His head movement was pretty on point, and he gets his gloves up there most of the time. Like, he ain't taking much clean, and he's got that high elbow guard like Dustin Poirier kind of has, or at least now he does. In this fight he did. And it's effective, man, because there's only a few strikes that you can really land when a guy's got that high guard there, and it's either shit to the body or shit right up the middle. And, you know, some guys don't make that adjustment, and he looked phenomenal and then killed it on the mic. I fucking love that guy, dude. He is amazing, okay? Take a look at this bicep. Dude, since when is that like a fight pro? That's hilarious. I was dying laughing for a good long while. Okay, he had me laughing, like, for real. I love Nate the Train. I would love to see him fight Alex Caceres. I would be very intrigued by that matchup. to see if he can handle a guy who, wants to fight him at range, not really get in the pocket with him. But fuck, man, his hands were lightning fast as well. He had phenomenal counter shots, and yeah, I would like to see him against Caceres. I would like to see if he could take, Caceres is tricky. He stays on the outside, but he's got good kicks and shit like that. I feel like Nate the Train, if anybody can close distance, is a goddamn Train, okay? And I feel like he could get in there and do work. And I don't think that Caceres can take the same amount of damage that fucking Nate the Train can, dude. So, yeah, it's an exciting one. Just any fight with him is exciting. And well, at least I do. I always want him to win because I want to hear him talk more. And he looked phenomenal when he showed up, too, in his fucking blue suit. Done, just totally done out, dolled out, all that shit, dude. He looked phenomenal. Anyways, next subject. Holm. Dude, at 41 years old. First of all, Yana Kunitskaya went, oh, I want to fight Holm like Holm. Because I remember I said in my prediction video that it would be a cage push scenario. A Holm by cage push, I said. The one who was trying to do all that shit was Yana Santos or Yana Kunitskaya. I still can't... Yana Santos sounds fucking weird, but Yana Santos. I understand why. Because perhaps Yana Santos did like the fucking calculus and she went, okay, well, she's better than me everywhere. So I got to pick the place where she's the least, the least better than me. I don't know. Because I feel like if it was, at range on the feet, Holm would pick her apart. And clearly in the clinch scenarios, she didn't have much for Holly. Holly would reverse her almost every single time and take her down and would just fucking do whatever she wanted on the ground. Looked great, especially at 41 years old. It's pretty fucking impressive in all honesty, man. Like, I know that she's got some boring fights and whatever, but it's impressive to watch somebody 41 years old go in there and do that against girls that, people think that she should be losing to or whatever. She closed as a pretty big favorite, which rightfully so, I think, just because Yana Kunitskaya has got nothing for her. But, even her win over Irene Aldana, when Aldana's like in talks for a title shot off of fucking like one win in a row. You know what I mean? It's weird. Holm could probably beat almost any girl in the division who isn't Amanda Nunes. And I mean, shit, dude, she might be able to beat Amanda Nunes with a better game plan if she were to do some cage pushing of her own for the first couple rounds. We know that Amanda Nunes gets tired. Then then strike at the feet with the big manly woman. And then the best part about Holm's victory, much like Knight the Train, Lambware, take a look at his bicep, was her post-fight interview or speech or whatever, where she went full preacher's daughter, I guess. She went based as fuck, dude. She's talking about sexualization of children and how we need to stop that and all this shit. Then she got asked to clarify at the post-fight press conference because I'm sure that there were media members there that were offended by what she said. And she said, I don't like to get political. I'm not a political person. I don't like to put this on social media and shit like that. But I still know right from wrong. And I think that the sexualization of our children is wrong and da-da-da-da-da. All this shit. Fantastic. Awesome stuff, Holm. And you know what I thought was absolutely fucking hysterical about this whole situation was that Holm did not mention one thing in specific. Like, she didn't specifically mention a single thing. She didn't say anything about drag queens. She didn't say anything specifically. She just said we need to stop the sexualization of our children. And it's funny because it's a very good way to draw out the fucking crazies, because you go look at the Instagram post from MMA Junkie of her clarifying her statements made in the Octagon post-fight. And the fucking top comment that I saw, the first one that showed up, was somebody saying, since when does drag queens have anything to do with sexualizing children? Huh? Nobody mentioned drag queens, but since you feel the need to defend it, I feel like there may be something there. You know what I mean? Like, stop gaslighting me, okay? Because Holm didn't even mention that. And that was immediately where your brain went to, which is fucking hysterical, because it kind of tells me that there's something off about that. But for whatever reason, you guys have made it your position that you need to fucking defend everything, no matter how fucking weird it is. Do you know how much more serious people would take your causes if you would call out the crazy shit within your own? Like, seriously, dude. If you want to be an advocate for that shit, for the alphabet community, or whatever you want to call it, you need to call out the crazy shit. You can't let it all slide. They make you look bad. I don't understand. The crazy fucks that want to twerk in front of little kids at story time and shit make you look bad. It's pretty simple, dude. And then I saw a lot of people in the comments too, which is funny because it's the only way that they can defend it really is whataboutisms, which is like, yeah, well, that's cool because we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. But since you want to bring that up, fine. People bring it up, well, you know, fucking if we really care about children and the sexualization of them, man, then we should probably get rid of churches, man. Kids should stop going to these church camps, man. Okay, sweet, fine. You're right. There have been certain religions, certain, you know, like the Catholic Church and shit, known specifically for high-ranking members, like popes and fucking bishops and priests and whatever else, you know, doing like shit like that, right? And then not just that, but them getting protected and just getting sent back to the Vatican or whatever, just to be shipped off somewhere else once the story dies down and shit. It is creepy for sure, which is why I think that everybody should have my position, which is that if you want to teach your kids that shit, and now I'm not talking about the already established religions because that already happens. If you want your child to grow up learning about Christianity, doing Bible study, whatever, or Judaism, either any, quite frankly, you have to, at least here in Canada, you have to send them to a private school, okay? You should have to do the same if you feel the need to teach your children about this shit that at least half the population doesn't want their kids to learn about, quite frankly. Especially here in Canada, actually, because the majority of people did not vote for the party in power here, about 30% of the party. But let's just use the United States as an example because it's so easy, because it's essentially split 50-50 down the middle every time. You know, minus 1 or 2%, obviously. They should, dude, if you want to teach your kids about that shit, let's just say the woke ideology in general, you should have to make it a religion. And it'll benefit everybody. You get tax breaks or whatever the fuck. If you want your kids to learn that shit, you can pay for them to go to a school that will teach them that shit. Because I'll tell you what, dude. Okay? Half the people that are sending their kids to school, at least, don't agree with this, but their tax dollars are funding the public school all the same. So their tax dollars are funding the public school to teach them something that your side wants them to be taught, that they don't agree with, and also that there's not a whole lot of science to back up anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, you guys are shitting on the religions that, you know, have priests diddling little boys or whatever. You guys should become a religion. You will be exempt. You can fucking do whatever you want. You want your kids to learn that shit, you send them to the fucking Church of Woke school and be done with it. And then you won't have to have people complaining about it, because the problem is that half the public that also pays taxes doesn't fucking agree with you, and they don't want their kid being taught that because they got long hair or whatever, that they're a fucking girl. Okay? My son's got hair as long as mine. Teachers think there's some underlying thing there. It's like, no, you fucking retard. He likes long hair. I've got long hair. You get me? He's a boy, clearly. His name's Odin. What the fuck's wrong with you? Okay? So, that's my take on that. That might be the most political I've ever gotten on this channel, but fucking suck it, okay? If you don't like what I just said, you're deranged, dude. Because I'm basically saying you can do whatever the fuck you want. Do not force it into public-funded schools where half the people disagree with you, okay? And it's not based in science. So it's not like you're teaching, it's not like half the population doesn't agree that 2 plus 2 is 4. It's like half the population thinks that 2 plus 2 might be 5, and they want that taught in school just in case. But the other half of the population says, no, you stupid fuck. 2 plus 2 is 4. It has always been 4. It will always be 4. Get that shit the fuck out of here. Okay? Now, final topic. Main event. Holy shit, dude. I should have went with my initial pick, dude. I said this in my prediction video. I said that I did a video when this fight was first announced. I picked Cory Sanhagen. Then I went back and I picked Chito. Because I had watched Cory's old fights and I realized that he was more hittable than his style would seem. He was not very hittable in this fight. However, Marlon Chito Vera decided, I'm going to do fucking nothing until there's 15 seconds left in the fight, and then I'll start swinging. And actually, dude, Cory Sanhagen's got like a black eye and shit. So, like, why the fuck weren't you doing more, dude? In those last 15 seconds, he landed a few shots. And I'm like, you could have been doing this the whole time. You proved to us throughout those 25 minutes that Cory Sanhagen's shots ain't doing much to you, right? I mean, Chito still looked like he barely even got in a fight, but he didn't get rocked. He didn't get wobbled. He didn't get fucking sat down. None of it. He didn't get cut open. And instead of trying to win, he just followed him around for 25 minutes. And in fairness, Cory Sanhagen looked fucking phenomenal. He froze Chito, I think, to a certain extent. I know that Chito does this typically for like the first 2 rounds of almost every fucking fight. But usually he has at least a moment, you know, by then. It's not... Dana White was saying, oh, I thought he looked slow in the Cruz fight until he knocked him out. Well, no, like, he dropped Cruz almost every round until that happened. It was just that to Cruz's, like, 50, he would land one, but his one would do way more damage, right? And then in the Rob Font fight, obviously, dude, he fucking butchered him with, like, half the amount of landed shots. And in this fight, he went, nope, don't want to do that. But I really do think that a lot of it was because of Cory Sanhagen. He gave him so many looks, so many different things to worry about, mixed in the takedowns, which is just another thing to worry about. Whenever he would switch stances, there's something really good about what Cory Sanhagen does. Like, if a guy who switches stances a lot, switches stances to throw a certain moveset compared to their other stance. I just said that like I was from Rearston. Compared to. Whoops. Anyways. Like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, for instance, he will only spin off one side. And then the other side, the other stance, he's using to throw front leg techniques. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've watched him fight, but when he switches one way, he's looking for spins. When he switches the other way, he's looking for lead leg attacks. And it's obviously still tricky to deal with, but it makes it a lot easier because you go, oh, okay, he switched here. I know he's going to throw this, this, and this. Cory Sanhagen does something where when he's switching stances, he's not doing that. Or if he is doing that, he's mixing up the order in which he throws those certain attacks so well that by the time he switches back to southpaw, like maybe a minute and a half later, Chito's got to be like, oh, fuck, is it going to be outside leg kick? Is it going to be teep kick to the body? Is it going to be a round kick? Is it going to be a 1-2? Is it going to be a... But you know what I mean? So many fucking variables. So many things to think about. And I think that it froze him. I just don't understand why he wasn't going forward, though. Like, Cory Sanhagen was landing shots, but they were not hurting Chito. You know what I mean? Like, he's tough as nails. I don't understand. Is he not confident in his ability to take a shot? Like, to really go in there and take a shot with... Because I fucking think he is, and I feel like he's proved that to everybody. But for whatever reason, it's like he's, like, loading. And not in a good way, dude. Like, I said that I feel like he does that. I said in my prediction video that people say he's a slow starter. But they'll say that Petr Yan is downloading information. I said that I think Chito's downloading information. I think he might just take a little bit longer. And he doesn't want to mount, like, a consistent, steady offense. He wants to land, like, a big shot on you, put you down, and fucking hurt, like, finish you off, right, basically. Whereas Petr Yan is trying to mount his own consistent offense because he knows he doesn't have one-shot knockout power. It's strange, man. I feel like Chito should know he can take a shot. You know what I mean? We've seen him take 270, pardon me, in his fight versus Rob Font. And look, beautiful at the end of it, like perfectly fine. So that was an amazing performance by Cory Sanhagen. Like, all the credit in the world to him. And I'll tell you what, dude. Cory Sanhagen is a fucking gangster for calling out Merab. Straight up gangster. Because that is a tough fucking fight. And I imagine, dude, imagine if Merab fought Chito with Chito's slow start and then Merab's pace on top of that. Like, Chito would literally probably land like 0 strikes. He might try to throw a few elbows when Merab's shooting on one of his takedowns, but Cory Sanhagen's style is honestly probably one of the better ones for it, because he is not going to wait around and let him do shit. He is going to fucking go. He wants to go. This is war to him. I love his mindset. I wish I saw this one coming. I probably should have, but, you know, I can only go off of so much. But Cory Sanhagen is still improving. That's another thing. He's a very young guy. He is still improving. He is not really improving. I think he's fucking tightening everything up, sharpening all his tools so that, which is still improving, right? But when I say that, I mean, I don't think he's learning like new skills. I think he's fucking making all of his skills way better. And it's beautiful to watch, man. I feel like, you know, anybody obviously could potentially have a tough time against Merab just because of the style, and he weaponizes his cardio, and that's about all he weaponizes. But still, Cory Sanhagen showed, you know what, he showed improvements in the grappling, that's for sure. Or maybe Chito just can't fucking grapple. I don't understand, dude. He's like a 10th planet guy. He's supposed to be good on the ground, but even on the ground, he doesn't have any urgency whatsoever. He doesn't feel the need to get going. It's fucking weird to watch, man. It's really weird to watch. Yeah. I hope that they give him that Merab fight, because I would love for somebody to get Merab out of there, just because otherwise the title it's strange, man. Like, you think in the back of Merab's mind he's hoping that Aljamain loses. I literally almost did the Houston accent again. Fuck me, dude. Me and my brother were talking to each other like that all weekend, and now I can't get it out. Loses. Dude, they say R's everywhere. It's so fucking funny. I lost where I was. Either way, Cory Sanhagen's a bad motherfucker, dude. He's a gangster, and I love that call out. His phenomenal performance, and I know some people probably thought it was lackluster or boring to watch. It wasn't the like firework all-out war that we were expecting. I think people were expecting that this was going to look like the Rob Font fight, and if I'm being honest, I kind of was too. I thought that Chito would be able to land some shots and hurt him, but Cory Sanhagen proved that he's the better fighter by fucking country mile, I think. And yeah, looked phenomenal. Really, really good. And I hope that they give him that Merab fight. But anyways, I'm going to go film a couple shorts now, because I've missed a few days. I want to put out more than one piece of content for you guys. So thank you very much for hanging in there and not all unsubscribing off of a couple day hiatus, because I know I usually very consistently post videos. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, dude. I think about 68% of you now are not subscribed, so that number is shrinking, but let's close that gap a little bit more if we could. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see y'all at the next video. Bye-bye. Thank you.